Hello, welcome to the Pickett Street Gossip Column.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about gossip. I can't even make a witty retort about gossip. We want to talk today about buyer's agents and their role in a short sale transaction. We did a video just recently about a recent interaction with a buyer's agent. And so let's talk about that generically. How does a buyer's agent affect the short sale process? Any ideas?
Absolutely. First of all, a buyer's agent really needs to set the tone for their client as to what they're getting into.
Yeah, realistic expectations. Basically, I will say that there's a couple agencies in the Puget Sound area that are older, more established institutions with proper ways of doing business that
Yes, daughter.
that may not be prepared for the realities of a short sale. I mean, we've run into this, and I ran into it this week with a buyer's agent who treated this process like a normal real estate transaction, and you just can't do that.
Well, I think that having an expectation that we as a listing agent have full control over all parties involved in a short sale is a completely unrealistic viewpoint, and I think that's something that needs to be, that's part of setting the tone. They need to understand that as a listing agent, we are facilitating a challenging at best process, and our goal is to be as efficient and effective as we possibly can at moving a file forward in a very large bureaucratic institution.
Yeah, so let's talk about a few things that we don't like in buyer's agents on short sales. I can tell you one thing that comes to mind. That buyer's agent that sends me a request for updates on a daily basis. You know, they're like, I get an email. Literally, there's a buyer's agent I'm working with. I get a request for an update from her every day, every 1 to 2 days. And I've explained to her, when I have an update, I will send it to you. When I have moved the process along, I will send it to you. And I know what I'm doing, and I usually get short sale approvals in 4 to 8 weeks. And chill out, you know? Me having to respond to your stupid email is not moving the process along.
No, and really creating that perception for your buyer is not doing them any favors either. And frankly, if your goal is to get a closed file and have a successful closing for your client, then the best thing you can do for both of you is to have realistic expectations going in, and then encourage your client and remind yourself to be patient throughout the process. It is going to be maybe not the most agonizing process you've ever been through, but it is going to be time consuming, and it's going to require that everybody moving forward participate in a cooperative manner and not be setting up difficulties for everybody.
Yeah. The other thing that I don't like is, there are times when I ask the buyer's agents to do the inspection prior to lien holder approval, and so they get all huffy and they're like, you want my buyers to waste their money on the inspection? Yeah,
I guess
it's not a waste.
It's not technically a waste.
They don't have to do an inspection, but my point is that my sellers are going through a very complicated and emotional process, and they're talking about, losses of thousands of dollars. I think your buyer can absorb a loss of $400 for an inspection.
Well, not to mention which, if your concern is time, and you sit for 3 to 5 weeks waiting for an approval, or more, and you haven't done an inspection, and then that inspection time comes, you receive the approval and do your inspection, find something that can't be negotiated out, that your buyers are unwilling to accept, well, you've wasted a huge amount of time, and they're not going to be pleased.
Right.
So it kills time for everyone if you don't get that done up front.
And you know what? I think it can make you look like a hero if you're a buyer's agent and you do that inspection right away. Because if, let's say it's a clean inspection, and you move forward with the short sale process, you get approval, now you can close in like less than 3 weeks.
Right.
The inspection is done. All you need is appraisal, underwriting, closing.
Well, and frequently, I mean, you've got clients who may have, in some cases, locked a rate. So if you've got a locked rate that expires in 90 days, and you wait that time out on a short sale, that may end up killing a deal for you, or at least increasing their costs.
All right, what else? One more thing from buyer's agents on short sale transactions. So we talked. I guess we talked about how they have, if they try to treat it like a normal transaction, that can be a problem. We talked about inspection, and we talked about updates, or how often we update. So I think overall, I mean, the main thing is that buyer's agents, if you're someone considering doing a short sale, just realize that we're well versed in dealing with buyer's agents in this role. And I think what's essential to making that process go well is having your listing agent set realistic expectations with the buyer's agents. Having them, hey, this is the lien holder, this is our history with this lien holder, we expect it to take this long. We're not going to send you daily updates. We will send you updates as they become available to you and to us.
And I guess one more thing I would add, and many agents are getting better at this, but as a buyer's agent, I consider it a responsibility to interview the listing agent and ask them pertinent questions as to how what condition the file is in and where things are in the process. So we're prepared for that, and we're more than happy to have that discussion.
And in fact, it makes me feel better about the transaction as a whole if I know that the buyer's agent is aware of.
If they're knowledgeable about the process and they're going to be committed to move through it with us.
All right, buyer's agents on short sale transactions. Just a little bit of a rant. Hopefully not too long. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, one more.